Go
That's
ahead.
20. Yes, and she
So nine
said,
years age gap. Okay.
and
No. She's 29 now. He's
It's a
not 20 now.
6 year gap.
It's they
He's
done had a baby
23.
and
He's 23.
yeah.
okay,
So
so
Okay.
she's
that's even
6 years
closer in
older.
age.
Yeah,
So
6 years older.
when I just spoke to her, she said that honestly she's really sad about this whole situation, that people are saying that she's like R. Kelly. They're putting R. Kelly's face on her body and trying to be funny and
Hey, that's
shit.
funny though.
That
It's
isn't
Wait,
kind of
funny
Amber,
weird,
did
though.
you
whatever.
go?
It's
But
not.
she's
It's
just
It's
like
not
not.
funny at
she
Let
just
all.
Amber
feels
finish.
It's
she just feels some type of way because he was 20 years old. She did not groom him. She did not go to his high school games. She did not even know him before he was 20 years old. The uncle actually hooked them up because he was pursuing her, and she just feels like this whole thing is really unfair, you know,
you
saying that she's anything like R. Kelly when R. Kelly was raping little girls. So it's just not the
right.
same thing at all.
Okay, let me.
I,
Can I
I
ask
believe.
a question,
And
please?
that
Hold
really
on.
Can I ask
Hey,
Amber a
Hold
We?
on.
question
Hold
quickly,
my
if
on.
mom
that's
is
okay?
Hold on.
okay. And I just
Hold
hold
on.
on
We?
really quick. I want to clear something up because for whoever said Lala and Carmelo are only 5 years age difference. They're not 10 years. Just to clear that up because that was said and that's not
yeah.
that was incorrect. We want to make sure we're saying factual things. And if you don't know anything about it, I would just not talk about it. But go ahead,
And
T.
factually,
Okay.
someone
The
funny.
question I
Hold
have
on.
for Amber is,
Oh.
Amber, did you ask her about the whole tweet she made about hide your sons? Right? Was she, if her people comparing her to R. Kelly's hurting her so much and she feels she's in this bad state, why would she make jokes like that? Okay, is that something you can ask her?
No, I
And
asked her
also,
that.
when the uncle walked up to her and said, "My son, is a big fan of yours," did she ask about, did his age ever come up? Like, is that,
No, why
or
would
no?
his age come up for a follow?
because
That's
just
Standing there
like
in the
I
club.
said, girl,
Hold
I'm 30
on.
years
Wait a
old.
minute.
What the
Let's not
hell?
all shout.
I don't know the ins and outs of that, but all I'm what was the first question? I'm sorry because I wanted to answer and then you said something
First
else.
question is, if she's so upset about people putting, R. Kelly's face on her body, and she's so distraught about this, why would she make a joke about hiding her sons, like
Yeah,
feeding into the narrative and the stereotype? Why would she feed into it if she's
right.
so
So
upset about it?
she's not necessarily distraught because it's just like a fucked up scenario to be in the same conversation as a rapist and a child molester and someone that literally kidnapped little girls. So no one wants to be in a conversation with R. Kelly. I think that's the whole point. But yeah,
She
the
ain't
reason
R.
why
Kelly.
she's
She R. Kelly-ish.
What?
no,
At
she's
that.
not. And I think the reason why she's trolling because it gets to the point where it's actually funny that he pursued her as a 20-year-old grown man, and people are creating this narrative that she was at his high school games and she was grooming him when that's just not the case. So I feel
AAU
like
games.
that's why she's trolling because it's just like this is a grown ass man that pursued me. So now I'm saying hide your sons, but really hide your grown ass consenting adult sons.
There you go.
Like that's just where
Hey,
she's at with it.
Still,
let me point
technically,
this
they
out
are
Just
real
because she
somebody's
quick.
said it
son.
don't mean it's true
They're
though.
somebody's
Yeah,
sons. Yeah.
but
She's not saying
but
hide your little
Hide
boys,
your
hide
infants,
your
hide
little
your
teenage.
toddlers.
Well,
Yeah,
in
she's
What
not
does
all
saying that.
science
fairness,
She's saying
say
hide
about
your
a
sons, your
what does
and
grown ass
science
sons
But
say
that
that
was
about a
still
fucking you.
20-year
feeds
That's
old
what
into
she's
the
brain?
saying.
narrative,
wow.
though. It
What does
still
science
feeds
say
into the
about a
narrative.
20-year-old brain?
Hey, but one.
Whatsoever.
Roll
Thank
back
you.
footage.
So that's number one. There's no footage of her ever being at a high school game. I
That
just spoke to her
we know
personally.
of.
Um,
AAU is
She
high
number
talked to
school,
her
two,
right?
personally though.
number
You guys
two,
calm down.
He can pull R.
she
Kelly and
was
he can
not
Oh,
play
let
his.
her
dating him.
say her
Can y'all
part.
mute the
Yeah.
mics? Damn, be
God damn,
respectful.
let her talk.
Number two, she was not dating him at 18 nor 19 years old. She did not meet him until he was 20 years old. He was 20 years old when they met. And what happened was she was hosting a party and his uncle was the club promoter in the city. And the uncle came to her and said, "My nephew is a huge fan of yours and he wants to know, can you follow him on Instagram?" And at that time, the club was booking her all the time. So she said, "Yeah, no problem. I'll follow him on Instagram." He was 20 years old. Once she started following him on Instagram, he then pursued her and started hitting her up and said, "I'm a huge fan of yours. I would like to take you out." That's when she initially went out with him. He was 20 years old. She has never been to a high school game. She did not groom him whatsoever. They started a relationship, they fell in love, and they had a baby
I
together.
believe that. The reason
So
why I
that's
believe that is
the whole
because when a
rundown.
nigga gets some money, not saying talking about him, but like when you rise to prominence, men want to naturally deal with the upper echelon of women to some
Yep.
magnitude. So
Hold on.
Amber, let me
Nobody.
know.
Yo,
Nobody.
Amber
I
seemed
Agree.
the only
nobody.
one talking.
Young black men are not protected, just like young black girls are not protected when it comes to their sexual autonomy, when it comes to their them just having that space to be children, because they're not adults. Science lets us know they're not adults. And when we as adults engage with them in that manner, we are in the wrong. Doesn't matter how you want to wrap it up. That's just what it is. And those are facts. Outside of your
the
personal
Cowboys just
feelings,
won.
science
So Miss Lady,
recognizes science recognizes that an adult engaging with someone who is not developmentally
24 years
at
old.
the same, and you would have to be 24 to even be at a level where you would be comprehending
But
a certain maturity level.
correct,
So
but
this is a
everybody's raised
conversation that
different.
we're
Hold on,
having.
everybody's raised
It
different,
does
right?
no, it is actually outside of that, because that level of forcing maturity is why a lot
Okay.
How you
why a
forcing
lot
it
of
when
Nobody
you're
First
raised
of
had
all,
different?
anything
first of
said
all,
that.
no.
It,
If
21
you
and I
have a
had
perception of
almost everything
maturity
in
on a
common. We
Because
have
I'm
child,
telling you, I played college ball, and at 18,
I'm going to
19,
let you
if
guys
if
know
if somebody
I went
25,
to school for this. What you guys are talking about is what we consider
You
that
don't
doesn't
know
make it right.
developmentally
every.
inappropriate. Listen,
Well,
it
Hold
I'm
is
also
on.
obese
considered
according to doctors. We
right.
all
It
know
is
that that is not
considered
correct. So let's.
developmentally
Is there still a
inappropriate.
queue?
Well, no.
Yes,
What we're
Okay,
gonna
yes,
do?
there's a
Hold
queue.
on. Hold on.
There
Hold
is a
One
on.
you guys
queue.
are
moment.
Can I
asking
just
for
One
respond to
moment.
her?
No.
Can
and
I
y'all have
just
been cutting me
respond
off
to
Amber
the
her?
needs
whole time.
Amber needs to respond to her.
You guys have
Actually,
been
so
cutting me off the whole time. So if you would allow me to actually
I
Amber
mean,
needs
Because
to
people
you're
get
going
cut
on
respond
a
off
to
everybody
you.
too,
rant.
so
You're
there's
going
that.
on a
I'm
She's
rant,
going
and
on a
that's
talking
rant.
all
yeah,
fucking day.
Has
yeah.
people been cutting me off?
No, okay, nobody. Let me just say this because I feel like we're gonna dig into a deeper hole that, and it's kind of getting off topic. So you're stating that Amber was out of pocket for dating someone that was 10 years younger than her because they have nothing in common mentally. Okay, we
And
Anyone
understand that.
that's cap.
dating someone that, because of, as
We
someone
heard.
has
Okay, so
stated,
we heard you
it's
say that part. And you
developmentally
guys, we want to make sure we're
inappropriate.
keeping it shorter too. But Amber needs to respond if she feels like she would like to respond to that. I don't know if
Yeah,
you want
I'm
to, but
fine responding to that.
go ahead, babe.
We had almost everything in common. Literally from our sign to our families to our children. He has 3 children. Like our children played together. We had literally almost everything in common. I did not feel the age gap, and neither did he. He loved the fact that I was 34 and he was 24. He loved that, I was a grown woman. He loved that I could show him things that he just didn't necessarily know or he wanted to learn. So, I learned a lot of things from him. You know what I'm saying? Nothing was ever forced. He was at my slut walk holding a sign, and we'll never forget that.
Yes.
That man loved me
He
at the
took a
time.
big L with that
So
one.
he just
None
talked
of
about,
those
I
Yeah.
don't think he
things,
necessarily
none
took
of
a
those
L.
things
I
Again, we're
he was
not
translated
like,
to
being
you know what?
maturity.
disrespectful, y'all. Let her finish.
I think that he was like, you know what? This is my woman. I love her and I'm here to support her. So if that's not mature enough for a man to do that, like, I don't know what is.
And what I want to say this, and we can even get Derek's perspective. Like he's someone who is you're younger, right? But do you go for if you were gonna date someone seriously, would you go for an older
I go
woman
for
because
older.
maybe
I
they're
go for
more on
older women. I've been that way
exactly.
since I was like
I'm just
21
trying
years
to
old.
understand, is she saying that 20, so for example, if 21, right?
King.
If 21 Savage was 27 and Amber was 34, would that have made it better? Are
No,
you saying
she's
because
saying
he
that
was 24?
There
You
is a
heard what she said. You don't gotta ask her again. You heard what
yeah, we
she
don't need to
said.
ask her any more
She
questions.
said
I'm
what
just
she
saying
said.
listen,
She said
I
that
feel like
mentally, real
there,
quick, Erica. She said
go ahead.
mentally that somebody that's 10 years isn't gonna have the same mental thought process as somebody that's 10 years older than them, and that's wrong for you for saying that because
Well,
you don't know
no,
what some of these
God.
people go through.
and
Because
that's
at the end of
everyone's
the day,
grandparents.
but
Look at our
let me say, but
Is
grandparents.
can I
there a
say? Let me
queue?
finish real
Yeah,
quick.
let
Real
Derek
quick,
let him
Let me
finish, you
finish.
guys.
Let Derek
You're wrong
finish,
for
y'all.
saying that.
quick,
Yeah, you're wrong for saying that because you don't know
quick.
some of these
Go
people'
ahead.
backgrounds. Just because somebody's 24 doesn't mean. I mean, I'm 27. And a lot of my peers are younger than me. I can't really adapt to them. I'm always gonna feel like I have a certain level of intelligence, a certain level financially where I'm above, and I'd be happy to be around people that's older than me. So 21 Savage at that time, at 24, was at the I would say is at the peak of his career. He's the leader of his group. He's running Atlanta. So how do you expect somebody like that to even try to deal with somebody who's going to be 21, 22 that doesn't understand the lifestyle, that doesn't understand how to be an adult. It's hard being in the music industry and the entertainment, sports too, and really try to find somebody that's for you and find somebody that's balanced, because you're not going to run into a lot of women that are going to be on that same level as you. Just like a lot of women don't sometimes run into a lot of men that are on that level, and then they get called gold diggers. How are they getting called gold diggers? Why is that a gold digger? Because she wants to be on a certain level that she has already been prior. So I don't really feel
Experience
like that statement
alone.
is
And
right,
now to
nobody,
help
to be
Derek
honest.
with that
Does
statement for the
experience
people that are in the audience, those women work to get that money. That's why they're looking for those men. They're not trying to come up and dealing with somebody that's better than them on a career level. They already have established that. You got to say that, bro.
Yeah, but
You
Right.
kind of
Brittany Renner was
I
also
think that
hosting a
And
club
that's
that
something
But
school
was
Brittany
can't
been
teach.
lit for
she was
years though. Brittany been doing her
lit.
shit for
Hey,
years.
real quick. Like
Y'all
I
just
said,
hit to her now.
hey, so check this out.
Don't
I'm stop.
forget to like the video and subscribe to Dose City TV. You already know. We out. Gang.